Good afternoon, everyone. A big hello to each and every one of you, and thank you so very much for joining us today for a very special groundbreaking event that will showcase Sarawak timber products and furniture designs. In the past few minutes, I hope that you've been enjoying the preview slides and a little bit of information on some of Sarawak's timber industry companies, and that was just to really whet your appetite for what is in store this afternoon. A big thank you, we must say, of course, to the Sarawak Trade and Tourism Office Singapore, also Sarawak Timber Industry Development Corporation, as well as the Singapore Furniture Industries Council for hosting today's event. And also a big thank you to the Singapore Business Federation for their great cooperation in marketing and promotion. I want to say a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. I am Tina Altieri, and I am so delighted to be your MC today. And together, you and I will explore the great opportunities for investment, as well as collaboration in furniture design and production between Singapore and, of course, Sarawak. You know, I've been really lucky to have lived and have worked in Singapore for about 13 years, and also travelled many occasions for business and for pleasure to Sarawak. And one of the things that really struck me each and every time, one of the things that's so clear in my mind, is that Sarawak designers and creative talent are definitely in a class of their own. And so I'm so certain that today's event will not only inspire you, but will also excite you. Wait till you see what we have in store. Now, the format of today's event is going to be jam-packed, just over an hour of presentations, and then the Q&A panel discussion, which we're really excited for you to be a part of. Now, I hope you're really familiar with the Zoom format by now. My guess is that you are, and I encourage you all to make use of the chat and the Q&A features during the presentations. Please actively participate and post your comments in the questions and in the chat box, and we'll address as many of those questions as we can throughout the event, and of course, particularly at the end when we have left a certain period of time to engage you and bring you in on the conversation as well. And the good news is no need to take any notes or screenshots, as all of the speakers' presentations material will be available online for you to download straight after. So we're really looking forward to delivering that. So without further ado, let's get things underway. Now, as we probably know, and I'd imagine most of you who are joining us today would have heard of STATOS. STATOS has been the wonderful face of Sarawak in Singapore since 2019. Their expert team provides professional advisory services to traders, to investors, to also tourism industry players that really strengthen and develop new trade investment and, of course, tourism links as well. So now we will hear from one of Sarawak's most creative and innovative exports, the founding CEO of STATOS. It gives me great pleasure to hand over to Mr. Chu Chang Guan. Over to you, Chu. Great to see you today.
Thanks, Tina. Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Phua Boon Huat, President of SFIC, Tuan Haji Hashim Haji Pojet, GM of STIDC, members from SFIC, STIDC, STATOS, all the speakers and friends in Singapore, in Sarawak, and beyond. A big thank for your support here today. This event is very special to me. In another life, I would have liked to be an interior designer. I especially enjoy decorating my own home. I was looking for a TV stand for my living room when a friend gave me a big giant piece of driftwood. Aha! Ideas came in. I am going to turn my living room become a beach. That following week, I drove 100 kilometers away from Kuching to a place called Samatan beach area and picked up more driftwood, shelves, and also sacks of sand. I had a local carpenter chainsaw them into the right sizes and built my own rustic TV stand. It's still there after 10 years. Why I'm telling you this is that we Sarawakian are quite good at making use of the natural timber that surround us. Today, Sarawak has many young talented designers and they are passionate about showcasing their works to the world. I am excited to hear from two of them today to see what inspired them. Do you know that just a quick 1 hour flight away, Sarawak is becoming a new regional investment hotspot? Today, we will share with you why we believe Sarawak should be your #1 furniture investment, furniture industry investment choice too. It is well known that Sarawak has abundance of natural resources, but we are still a diamond in the rough. What we need is partners with the funding and the know-how to enable us to invest downstream. Our small-scale furniture manufacturing industry is very open to foreign investment. If we pool our resources and joint venture, both of us can achieve our goals together. One of the biggest advantages is that we have what you lack most, that is space to grow. After today, I hope you will see that we can offer reliable raw resources and talent. I recall when Minister of State, Mr. Chi Hun Ta, came to Kuching for the second trip. He and his team from MTI and ESG visited a small locally run furniture shop. They were all stunned and impressed with the style and beauty of the Sarawak furniture on show, all the Berlin woods, big giant Berlin woods. Minister Chi commented that this furniture can last at least for 100 years. The only thing is the design is generally too bulky for Singapore homes, which our designer will have to take note. These candle holders came from that shop. It is made from a pepper farm's discarded ironwood. Well, it maybe took at least 30, 40 years to grow that size of ironwood. Very creative, and there is so much more to discover. The reason our STATS first overseas trade and tourism office was established here in Singapore is because you have just what we are looking for. Singapore is teeming with wealthy internationally backed business leaders with the vision, knowledge, and means to make things happen. We really need your expertise and your investment dollars. Make no mistake, our government is absolutely committed to building both the physical and digital infrastructure that Sarawak needs to reach its full economic potential. STATOS work closely with our colleagues from STIDC. Their GM is here with us today, and you'll be surprised at just how quickly we can move and make things happen if there is a right proposal. The plan for our new furniture park are already there. From my discussion with investors already active in Sarawak, what surprised me the most was that most of the motivators that inspired them to choose Sarawak were things we locals just take for granted. Top of the list was the peaceful history and the stable government, followed by the ease of immigration and willingness to learn from foreign experts. This was cited as game changers for some investors, especially those needing to recruit and train a local workforce. Finally, I'd like to invite you to join us for a planned Singapore business mission to Sarawak in Borneo to see our furniture parks for yourself. As soon as we can fly, come with us to Sarawak. You will not only get to see my driftwood creation, but also find many remarkable, stunning pieces of furniture ready to be exported to the world. We are keen to make a great start with you. Thank you. Back to you, Tina.
Thank you so much, Chu. Really great to hear you today. And I've got to say, Chu, you've got me wondering how much of that beach sand is still in your living room as we speak.
You got some bad care of that.
I thought so. And I've got to say that I'm a big fan of driftwood as art, but I hadn't thought of using it as a TV stand. So you've really inspired me. So thank you so much for that. You know, our co-host today is the Sarawak Timber Industry Development Corporation. And since the year 1973, they have been instrumental in the expansion of wood-based industries throughout Sarawak and also managing the sustainable and effective use of the state's forest resources. So now, from his desk in Kuching, to welcome you all, let's now cross to STIDC General Manager Tuan Haji Hashim Haji Bojet. Over to you. Lovely to see you today.
Okay, thank you, Tina. Good afternoon, everybody, and warm greeting from Sarawak Timber Industry Development Corporation, STIDC. And good afternoon, Chiu, the CEO of STATOS, and Mr. Phua Boon Huat, the President of SFIC, and speakers, invited guests, and also viewers, and ladies and gentlemen. And first and foremost, let us thank to Almighty for giving us this opportunity this afternoon to be here at the webinar on Sarawak Furniture Design and Investment Opportunity, jointly organized by STIDC, Sarawak Trade and Tourism Office, Singapore, STATOS, and also Singapore Furniture Industry Council, or SFIC. I wish to welcome all the viewers, attendees, and speakers and my special thanks to Mr. Chiu, the CEO of STATOS, and his team for being co-organizer for this webinar today. And today's event is one of the few events that STIDC had opportunity to collaborate with STATOS and SFIC to promote Sarawak furniture industry in Singapore. And the first event was when STIDC together with furniture manufacturers from Sarawak organized an exhibition at Suntec, Singapore, in conjunction with Sarawak government with event in Singapore and in 2019. Subsequent to that, STIDC worked closely with STATOS, organizing a seminar and exhibition on Sarawak furniture at the same time at the same place in Singapore in September 2019. And STIDC also have placed a few furniture made in Sarawak at STATOS showroom and received many inquiries from interested individuals from Singapore. And today is our second webinar with STATOS. And I'm indeed very glad and pleased with the existence of STATOS, and through this many events that we had organized together, Sarawak product, especially furniture, we're able to reach the buyers, the retailers in Singapore. And today webinars, STIDC interest is to present our three important areas. So one of them is Sarawak Young Designers, and we call it SAYS Designer Sarawak, and to commercial our furniture designed by our young designers, and of course to attract Singapore investors to Sarawak to develop and also to produce furniture for export market. So for Sarawak Young Designers, we have two of our SAY designers to speak in this webinar this afternoon on their design, thinking, ideas, and creation. So we hope the product, the design presented by our two young designers will attract our Singaporean retailers, importers, and distributors, and to produce this what I call design furniture in Singapore or in Sarawak in near future. So our SACE Designer Sarawak is a 2 years training program that have been developed by STIDC in collaboration with University Malaysia, UNIMAS, and Institute Technology Bandung, ITB, from Indonesia. So this program is to train fresh graduates from UNIMAS to design the furniture for export market and to help the timber industry, especially the furniture manufacturers in Sarawak, to produce a good furniture for domestic and also for export market. So on this platform, STIDC wish to take the opportunity to invite potential companies and individuals from Singapore to invest in Sarawak, especially in furniture production. So Sarawak have vast opportunities for investment. We have raw material and other resources to help the investors from Singapore to develop this product for domestic and also export market. With SACE Designer Sarawak program running smoothly by STIDC since 2018, STIDC will facilitate the growth of furniture industry in Sarawak, which will be able to help to achieve an export market export earning of 6 billion by 2030. So that is our target. So we hope our friend from Singapore will come over to Sarawak and to help STIDC to achieve this 6 billion of export of furniture. And we hope that with our two young designers presenting design later on, we'll invite more Singaporean furniture retailers and also distributors to come over to Sarawak to set up their factories in Sarawak and exporting more furniture. And maybe in future, we hope not only 6 billion, maybe we can export more than 6 billion of furniture in Sarawak. So it's another opportunity for investors from Singapore. It is what we call, despite of other competitors from Vietnam, Indonesia, and China, we can have it in Sarawak for export market. So to conclude, I wish to thank again Mr. Chew from STATOS and his team, Mr. Phua Boon Huat, the president of FIC, and his team, the speakers, and the viewers who really support this webinar organized by STIDC and STATOS. And we hope after this webinar, we will receive inquiries from interested parties, investors from Singapore. With that, thank you very much. Back to Tina. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Tuan Haji Hashim, for your warm welcome and also for your inspiration. It was great to hear you today. Okay, everyone, so now let's move on to our co-host, being the Singapore Furniture Industries Council. Now, the council that you may know has been representing Singapore's furniture and furnishings industry for the past 3 decades, 30 years. And I understand too that its members represent something like 95% of the established furniture manufacturers in the whole of Singapore. What's particularly exciting for our Sarawak participants today is that 65% of their members have subsidiary manufacturing plants in various countries right across the region. And we indeed are hoping to sow the seeds to grow that impressive number right here today. So now, would you please welcome SFIC President, Mr. Phua Boon Huat. Over to you.
Thank you, Tina. Tuan Haji Hasim bin Haji Bojek, General Manager of STIDC, Mr. Chew Chang Kwan, CEO of STATOS, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Singapore Furniture Industry Council, I would like to thank the Sarawak Timber Industry Development Corporation and the Sarawak Trade and Tourism Office Singapore for the invitation to today's webinar. My warmest welcome to everyone that's attending this session, and I hope that we will be able to take away valuable information on potential business and collaborative opportunities that Sarawak has to offer. It only seems like yesterday that Singapore welcomed a delegation of Sarawak furniture manufacturers back in 2019. Since then, we have witnessed a year of challenges for the world. And while we are not out of the woods just yet, we believe that the furniture industry is poised to make a steady rebound in the very near future. As a home office environment becomes more important, the need for furniture, be it for a spacious mansion or urban dwelling, is an area where we as an industry can truly address as we redefine our working confines and attitudes. Digitalization has also been fast-tracked due to the global travel restrictions. Companies that has pivoted since last year to take advantage of digitalization are seeing the rewards of being able to engage with their customer through a different medium while still maintaining their traditional brick-and-mortar business model for the last mile engagement. Even events and exhibitions have turned to digital technology to allow companies with internationalization aspiration to continue looking for new markets while staying in touch with existing clientele base by using digital tools. Another very important aspect that's been at the forefront is the topic on sustainability. This will be very relevant to the furniture industry ecosystem going forward. Our responsibility as organization and the industry is to ensure that we do our part towards a safer and greener world. It will be a game changer for companies to apply design thinking throughout the entire furniture value chain, from conception and sourcing to the end of life of products and packaging with a strong focus on sustainability. We also cannot omit efforts in understanding the partners that we collaborate with also adheres and uphold to the very same values that's practiced within our very own organization. In the midst of a post-pandemic economy, ASEAN is still slated to become a major economic force in Asia and a key driver of economic activities in the global economy. A recent report by Global Data, a leading data and analytics company, has projected that ASEAN GDP will rise by the average of 6%, making it the 4th largest exporting region globally. There are so many opportunities for ASEAN countries to take advantage within the ASEAN furniture community to establish strategic alliances and partnerships. The fact that today's webinar theme focuses on design investment, we are confident that there's much that the state of Sarawak and Singapore can offer each other in helping the industry attract and groom talent as we progress together. That means we can each develop our own capabilities and business model, as well as cooperate and tap on each other's complementary strength to leverage business opportunity at the same time. As we further understand and appreciate the respective strengths that we can value add to each other, I personally believe that we will not be short of business proposals to further the interests of our Singapore and Malaysia furniture industry. It only leaves me with great confidence in ending that through this webinar, all of us will gain much from the sharing and networking. On this note, I look forward to an engaging webinar session today. Thank you. Over to you, Tina.
Thank you so very much, Boon Huat, for your wise words of encouragement and support. We really appreciate it, and it's great to have you in the program today as well. Well, it's certainly been a time of tumultuous change for businesses everywhere, and indeed, taking up your challenge that we all need to groom new talent, we're delighted to be able to introduce each and every one of you on our webinar today and introduce a pair of STIDC's talented young designers. They are graduates of Say Designer Sarawak. The Say Designer program that you've heard just a little about this afternoon was developed and was also implemented by STIDC in collaboration with UNIMAS and the Institute of Technology Bandung in Indonesia. It trains new graduates in industrial design, and they are doing an incredible job of fostering wonderful talent. So today we will hear from some young designers and learn what really drives their passion, drives their creativity. Ryan Matthias Anak August and Arifin bin Mohammed Sidek. They've both completed degrees in design technology. They've undertaken one-year industry placements and received advanced training in furniture design at Bandung in Indonesia. They're also chosen, ladies and gentlemen, to exhibit at international design shows like Index Mumbai and Downtown Design Dubai. No doubt both of those would be familiar to each of you listening today. So to set the scene now, what we want to do is we want you to take a sneak peek at what study is really like for the Say Designers students in a short video clip. And right after the short video clip, we will hear straight away from Ryan and his presentation entitled Why Chair Design is Like Painting, Beautiful and Colourful. But before Ryan, let's take a look at Say Designers.
If you always try to do your best, then you never have to wonder. If you always best not as good as you hope, it would be good to say, hey, hey, I'm strong and sweet and I'm brave. This chance in life I have to fight. All the best and it's so gladly I gave. Come hurt to me and let's get it right. I gave today, say designers. I gave today, say designers. I gave today that I had of me. I gave today, say designers. I gave today, say designers. I have to gain the summit of love. Try to do your best, then you never have to wonder if you always that's not as good as you hope it would be good to say. Hey, hey, I'm strong and sweet and I'm brave. The challenge in life I have to fight. All the best in me so gladly I gave. Heart and heart to me and let's go fly. I gave today, say designers. I gave today, say designers. I gave today that I had in me. I gave today, say designers. I gave today, say designers. I have to gain the summit at last. I gave today, say designers. I gave today, say designers. I gave today that I had in me. I gave today, say designers. I gave today, say designers. I have to gain summit at last.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan from Sarawak Young Designers. I feel honored and grateful to be given the opportunity to speak and share my creation. My topic for today, design is like painting, beautiful and colorful. Design is a part of me. Creativity begins when I was still very young. I find it amazing with line, shape, and colors comes together to create an expression of art. Today, I want to present to you two of my creation, the kita mushroom chair and the bow rainbow chair. This is my kita mushroom chair, and why I choose mushroom to be my inspiration? Because I like to eat mushroom. Mushroom is a cute little plant which can develop into a product due its special features. There are many kind and many form of mushroom. Each type of mushroom has its own characteristics and features. I'm creating a product based on nature. My creation is green product. These are few sketches that I have done to create mushroom into form. I choose enoki or enokitake mushroom. This type of mushroom are very popular in Japan and China because it has a very unique appearance and colors is a pristine shade of white, soft in texture, and its stalks are imperfectly straight in shape. This is my small scale, 1:5 scale of my mushroom chair. And this is a part of my process. And also this is a part of my process making the chair. This is my kita mushroom chair. It's a very unique chair. It is ergonomic effects. Green chair because it made of a recycled solid wood. It's a minimalist, sleek chair. Even though the recline backrest is made from overlapping wood, it is give the user a feeling, a comfort and relax. And the next few slides, I will share to you the picture of kita mushroom chair. The features on the chair, if you can see, it is slightly bent, giving it a very realistic look, just like mushroom, grow naturally. Here is a detailed part of the chair. The little hollow and the grow of small mushroom living in groups on the sitting area. All the features on the chair do not in the least affect of the comfort of the user, as the structure on the chair is completely safe and stable and will look one of the kind chair. Detailed parts of the chair, just like mushroom sprouting from the ground. This chair also look like it's sprouted from the face of earth. Here a more visual of the mushroom chair. I wish everyone could experience this chair. Now, I want to present to you my second creation, Bow, the rainbow chair. The concept from rainbow, it signifies the multiple emotion, signifies beauty in colors. The word bow came from rainbow, which is represent the act of bending one head or body to show respect. Show of bend, beautiful shape, colorful, being flexible and resilient. This is a part of design process, transform idea into form. And exploring the beauty of rainbow, uniqueness, line, colors, shapes, and the flexible of rainbow. Transformation of idea into a chair to give user a taste and feel of happiness and joy. Striking colors, wood band, removable pillows, and a rocking chair features, all of which are sure to bring user happiness, similar to scene and rainbow. This bow, a rocking chair that give a feeling of comfort and joy in a state of peace and total relaxation. The next slide, I will show to you the bow. Designing is so much like painting. It's beautiful and colorful. That is my concept of my two creations that I present to you today. To conclude, I would like to thank everyone for your time and attention. I truly look forward to any collaboration to those who are interested. I can be contacted at this number or drop any email. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Just fantastic. And in fact, even looking at your designs brings me joy and light. And I love the colors that you use as well. And I'm sure we've seen mushroom and rainbow inspired chairs taking pride of place in so many new homes one day soon. So congratulations and thank you so much for sharing some of that as well. Moving on now, it's time to hear from our second young designer sharing his own special free-thinking approach to design. Over to you, Arifin.
Thank you, Tina. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. I am Arifin Siddiq, an industrial designer. Today, my topic is design. Creativity is a free mind. To me, having a free mind means being open to everything and not being at all afraid to try something new. Designers are always trying different techniques and discovering new ways to look at their works. Today, I will present to you two of my very own creations, my Popo Chisel Che and the Bones Collection. The idea of making this Chisel Che is from the beach, and this is where my idea came from. The Chisel has a very unique feature, even though the outer layer of the Chisel is thin and light. The series of curved lines on the surface of the Chisel gave it a sturdy and solid exterior. You know, Chisel is a very unique creature of its tough exterior to its curvature and coils. I identify the criteria of each Chisel, such as its structure, movement, colors, and shape. This is the sketch how to transform the idea into form. In the few slides, I will show a sketch of my designs. This is the Popo Chisel. The Popo represents the connection of organic shapes and elastic surface to achieve a good design without compromising its aesthetics and comforts. The chair has acupunctural and ergonomical feature, is able to enhance its user levels of comfort and relaxation. This chair will give its users the ultimate sensorial experience. For this comfortability, I incorporated numerous cushion upholstery in the shape of capsule for the sitting until the way the backrest of the chair. In a way, this resembles the ancestral method of acupuncture that ergonomically embrace the weight and movement of the body. Next slide, I will show to you a various picture of the Popo chair. These are my creation of Popo chair. Next, I will show to you a Vivo Collection. For this design collection, I was inspired by the motion of a bouncing ball movement. It reminds me a lot of my childhood day, which is one of the happiest times in my life. When I was walking around my neighborhood one evening, when I saw a group of kids happily playing bouncy balls, the ball bouncy motion got everyone there running to catch it. I wanted to create a design that could bring this much happiness and excitement. So that's where the idea comes from. I have designed a chair that reflects happiness and creating a sense of peace and calmness, and most of all, joy. This is the sketch of my designs. This is my Vivo Collection comprising of vibrant chairs with a unique coffee table. This collection is designed for excellent and soft living environments. I made this choice of an excellent soft texture with the addition of a soft cushion on the sitting and backrest pad, giving more spongy sitting area. The backrest pad giving you a bouncy backrest area. It has an excellent design and cater for soft living environment. The backrest is a ball. It looks like a bouncy ball. Next, few slides, I will show to you a various picture of my Vivo chair. Vivo Collection comfortable with a spongy sitting posture. It's a comfortable chair with soft blue color. If you see the backrest round shape, it's just like a bouncy ball. The design comes out with one set of lounge chair and coffee table that you need in an urban living space. Evidently, the Vivo chair is an easy chair with a relaxed sitting posture and super comfortable for its users due to its bouncing features. Ladies and gentlemen, design creativity is a free mind. That is how I developed my Popo and Vivo chair with this concept. To conclude, thank you for your kind guidance. For those who are interested in my design to collaborate with me, please contact me at this number and email address. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arifin. It's really great to hear from you. Congratulations on some wonderful designs there. I particularly love the Vivo bounce chair, and I can just imagine all of us panelists, and in fact, everybody listening in right now, having the opportunity to sit on one of those bounce chairs while we're taking part in a webinar like this. I think it would add a brand new complexion to the and the idea of working at home. So absolutely wonderful. Thank you so very, very much, Arifin. And it seems that someone other than Chu has also been roaming the beaches of Samarkand, searching for treasures of the sea. So absolutely wonderful. Thank you again. Well, Arifin and Ryan will be here indeed to answer any questions that you may have for the panel session. And I'm sure that they would love to hear from anybody as well who may be interested in taking up their designs commercially or perhaps commissioning new designs. So now, from art and artisans, we head to the chase for the external capital investment, and a very important part of today's webinar. Our next session takes a from a business point of view, a look at what Sarawak has to offer investors who are interested indeed in establishing new business or partnering with existing furniture manufacturers. So to tell us why Sarawak should be your preferred investment destination, our next speaker is Mr. Nicholas Andrew Lissam. He's Assistant General Manager at the Sarawak Timber Industry Development Corporation. And Nicholas, I should tell you, is a mechanical engineer by trade, plus he plays an important leadership role at the Planning and Licensing Division in STIDC. In this role, he is responsible for planning for the timber industry, issuance of mill licenses, as well as promoting investment. So a very big role and a really important opportunity for you to take a listen to the wonderful investment opportunities. And Nicholas, over to you.
Thank you, Tina. Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'm going to highlight 3 important things for you to consider why Sarawak is your next investment destination. Number one, the strength of the timber industry itself. Number two, what are being offered to investors in Sarawak for you to come over to Sarawak? And number three, what are the initiatives taken by the government to develop furniture industry or value-added industry in Sarawak? Let's go into it. If you look at this slide, we have two key strengths here. Number one, we see Sarawak exporting timber products to many parts of the world, particularly the Asia Pacific region. This source strength number one, that is Sarawak products is well accepted in the global market. Our key market, you can see here, is the Asia Pacific region. Total export value last year was 3.74 billion ringgit, and going to Asia Pacific region was about 3.6 billion ringgit. That's about 95% of our market. Now the key market in Asia Pacific region are Japan, 1.8 billion ringgit, followed by India, which is about 340 million. Next, Taiwan, 273 million. Then Korea, 189 million, and China, 168 million. We have also a very important market in this region, Asean countries. Export to Asean countries last year was about 322 million. And the key market in ASEAN region are, one, Philippines, with a value of 148 million ringgit, followed by Indonesia, 117 million ringgit, and Vietnam, 57 ringgit. Now the next strength we have is that we are producer of good tropical timber products. In fact, Sarawak is the major producer and exporter of plywood tropical timber products in this region, second to Indonesia. Total export of plywood last year was almost 2 billion ringgit, about 1.96 billion ringgit. And this was followed by sawn timber, 436 million ringgit, and MDF or fiberboard, about 306 million ringgit, and wood chips, 234 million ringgit. What has Sarawak to offer to investors? Here I list out key parameters that you can consider why Sarawak is your choice of investment. Number one, we are strategically located within a very important region, that is the Asia Pacific region. And also we are within the ASEAN member countries. We know that within Asia Pacific region, the total population is about 2/3 of the world population, and it is a growing market. We have big market like China, we have big market like Japan, India, Korea, not to forget the ASEAN countries like Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand. Yeah. Number two, we have also incentive given by the government, basically two key incentives, the pioneer status, which is for income-based tax relief, and the other one is the investment tax allowance, which is given mainly for qualifying expenditure. Next one is the ease of doing business. I think I heard Mr. Kwa was saying that we need to digitize things. The government is promoting digital economy in Sarawak, and we have many processes, many key delivery processes that we have digitized. And that has simplified our process and also has improved our delivery time. In fact, during the movement control order, we were able to still issue export permit and license because we were able to give these services online. Workers here are easily trained. You can see the two designers, young designers, they are still fresh from graduate. You can see how they have moved quickly. If you train them well, give them more exposure. Many are multilingual. That is also an advantage for us. And most of them are having good education. And we have good education infrastructure. State government also spending amount of money for attracting investment, including bringing foreign-based university like Curtin or Swinburne to Sarawak. Success story. STIDC alone have some success story dealing with foreign investors. For instance, when we want to promote plywood industry, we bring in glue manufacturers to come to Sarawak to invest to produce glue. At that time, we don't have any glue mill. At the same thing, also we want to promote furniture or fiberboard industry using mixed tropical hardwood. We bring in also foreign investors to come in and invest in Sarawak. And this, for example, these two investors are here, still here today in Sarawak. Next is stability. Politically, Sarawak is still stable, although you can see at national level there are some instability, but you see Sarawak is still politically stable. In terms of management, we have the Sarawak Timber Association and also the Sarawak Furniture Industry Association that represent the industry. So if investors would like to come, would like to have more collaboration, they could contact these two associations for them to discuss further. And we have STIDC as the key agencies in Sarawak to look at the timber sector, which can help you if you have any further queries in this sector. Livability. Sarawak is also a livability place. It has a diverse culture. We have at least 28 ethnic groups in Sarawak. It is a safe environment to stay. We have very low crime rates. We have good infrastructure. Actually, the government is spending more on infrastructure in the last few years and in the next few years, especially on the two main trunk roads, the Pen-Borneo Highway and also the Coastal Highway that would link Sarawak domestically and also with other states and countries like Sabah and Brunei and also Kalimantan. We have also good air and sea connectivity. Next, we talk about raw material. Our key source of raw material for the industry comes from one, natural forest. The state government is making an effort to ensure that it is sustainable. Therefore, we're going to make sure that the natural forests are being certified, all of it being certified by year 2022. We also have supply from planted forests. Total planted area up to now is about 450,000 hectares. And these are the potential raw material for the future industry. We allow importation to facilitate the industry if that is the requirement of the industry. And we're also looking into the potential of utilizing non-forest timber products, particularly bamboo and palm. And STIDC is leading in most of these initiatives. Infrastructure. We have and we continue to develop industrial land to accommodate the industry. Our price is quite competitive. Field land in Sarawak for industrial land is about 10 ringgit to 20 ringgit per square feet. And unfilled land is about 8 to 15 ringgit per square feet, depending on the location. There is also a discount for those who develop their project within 2 years. These industrial land are normally supported with infrastructures. The other two things that I should also highlight are electricity tariff and water tariff. You can see that electricity tariff in Sarawak is one of the most competitive in Malaysia. For industrial I3 published tariff, it's about 25 cents per kilowatt. This is the published tariff. You can also negotiate for other what they call power purchase agreement if you utilize high amount of electricity. The other advantage is we have a very low footprint for our power supply. About 70% of our electricity supply come from hydro power plant. Water supply. We also have competitive and reliable treated water supply. Our rate is about 97 cents to 1 ringgit 32 cents per cubic meter. This is industrial rate. What are the policies for the government to attract investment in this area and to support this industry? Number one, we have this log quota policy. Under this log quota policy, we allocate logs for domestic processing. And the quota is reviewed yearly to make sure it is in accordance to the requirement of the industry. Number two, we allow importation of raw material, especially for the use of value adding and producing products for export market. I would like to highlight that the export license is issued by STIDC. Number three, we also allow 100% foreign equity investment in this sector, as long as you establish a company in the country. Foreign workers. We also allow foreign workers to be employed in Sarawak. And this is one, the autonomy given to Sarawak that Sarawak has, and this approval of foreign workers is given by Sarawak through the localization committee, and STIDC is also a member in this committee. Next is the development incentive in terms of infrastructure, in terms of costs that they're given, and in terms of discount if you do it within 2 years. Let me show the list of initiatives that are being taken to make sure that that the program for this furniture-based or value-added based industry are being implemented. Number one, infrastructure, furniture park. We are developing furniture park, 2 furniture park in the pipeline for this value-added base. We have also developed furniture lab, which will be completed by this year for us to do furniture testing, a design center, and other infrastructure like roads and ports. We also have raw material. I have highlighted this one, natural forest, planted forest, imported material, alternative material. And we also promote investment and looking for anchors in these key industries that will lead the industries. We have this young designers program to reduce the gap between competency and requirement of the industry. And we also do promotion, both physical and also online promotion to assist the industry. And we also capitalize on R&D for us to help the industry, especially applied and R&D. So we are working with local university and also some foreign university on embarking on R&D that is required by the industry. This is the picture of the 2 sites for furniture park. On the left is the Demak Laut Industrial Estate in Kuching. It's very near to the Kuching port in Senari, which is about, I think, maybe less than 10 kilometers. The other one is in the Tanjung Manis economic growth area. This is central part of Sarawak, which is also near the port. This is about, again, maybe less than 5 kilometers to the port. These areas are being put as projects to be developed in the Malaysian 12th Malaysian Plan starting this year. What is our destination for this industry? Our destination is to achieve 8 billion export value by 2030, mainly focusing on value-added products as the key new growth area for Sarawak. Furniture is one of them. And by then, we would like to see 60% of our export value comes from value-added products, particularly furniture. Currently, more than 90% of our export value still come from primary products like plywood, sawn timber, MDF, particle board, and wood chips. And we hope you can join us in this journey to achieve this destination that we want to achieve in 2030. Should you have any queries, please drop us your queries or contact us through the email in this contact. Thank you. Over to you, Tina.
Thank you so very much, Nicholas. Great to hear from you. And I'm sure that there'll be a lot of questions that start to come through in the Q&A section, which is just coming up around the corner. So we're looking forward to that. But before, let's head now back to Singapore for our final speaker from Singapore's Furniture Industries Council. This is immediate past president, Mark Yong, and his day job is executive director for UN's Private Limited, a leading distributor of furniture components and fittings. And Mark will give us his important viewpoint on trends and business opportunities. So Mark, it's over to you.
Thank you, Tina. Can everyone hear me? I hope so. Yep. Yep. Tuan Haji Hashim Bojek, bin Haji Bojek, Mr. Chu Changguan, CEO of STATOS, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Allow me to begin my sharing by going back to the month of 2019 November, where we held our regional forum on business potential and opportunities in the ASEAN region. Back then, a pledge was called upon for furniture companies and industries in Southeast Asia to pull their strengths and enhance cooperation to achieve mutual prosperity and sustainability within our region. As the focus then was really on the China trade war, China and US trade war, it was a perfect time for ASEAN to take advantage. However, this call to action was put to an abrupt halt with the COVID-19 pandemic wreaking havoc on everything that we know on an unprecedented global scale. Businesses were affected and they had to pivot very quickly to ensure their survival. Many that were not nimble enough to adapt or transform, or whose products and services were made redundant or due to changes in lifestyle or by lockdowns, they were dealt a very devastating blow. So fast forward to today, I feel that this pledge that we made some 17 months ago still hold relevant to date. And we really must carry on. A lot of these themes that we discussed back then, even with the change in the Trump to Biden administration, still holds very relevant and even more pronounced today. The worsening disputes between the superpowers of the world in the last 1 month especially, and the ongoing great container crisis that started many, many months ago in the midst of all the lockdowns in the world, as well as the recent Suez Canal incident, these really got us concerned about how we were doing things in the past. And it got companies thinking that perhaps nearshoring and focusing more on our region as our manufacturing, procurement, sourcing, and also as our customer base, maybe that's the way forward for some of us to mitigate our risk. And this might also help to build resilience for us. So while we ponder these important issues, let's have a look at what we have done in Singapore or in the region recently. As a show of our strong pan-ASEAN partnership for our furniture industry, we have picked up from where we left off by organizing our very first ASEAN International Furniture and Furnishings Show, or AIFFS. So this is a virtual version of the show. And it's organized cohesively by our ASEAN Furniture Industries Council. And this recently concluded in middle of March. This ASEAN International Furnishings Show had a total of 64 companies from 9 countries participating, and we saw over 5,000 visitors from 43 countries attending it virtually. So this truly reflects the region's furniture industry players' gumption and their concerted effort to make true our promise of being able to lead the industry in digital transformation and also in internationalization. In spite of the limitations brought about by the pandemic, we are not taking a back seat in continuing to strengthen our region's position. So even though ASEAN countries and industries within the countries compete with one another, A larger common goal really is to create cohesion, consensus, and cooperation amongst the various partners of ASEAN region, so that we can prosper together mutually. So this is where we can find many potential business opportunities and investment opportunities for ASEAN countries. By banding together, sharing a common vision, and also undertaking activities to really discover and eventually seize these valuable opportunities, we can collectively enhance the position of the region in cooperation. Hearing from the various presentations in today's webinar, I'm really heartened to see that there are many young designers in Sarawak, and also have access to Sarawak's natural resources. And this will serve the state very well. And even more so with the talent you have on a more regional and then global scale. It is to my understanding that STIDC aims to produce 100 furniture designers by 2030 to boost the industry's competitive advantage, and also to achieve the export target of 6 billion ringgit. We here in SFIC, or in the Singapore furniture industry, we also look forward to the possibility of working with some of these very talented young designers in the not so distant future. Well, we always believe in collaborations to enhance business agility. Collaborations can be between companies and designers, or between companies of different capabilities and nationalities. So with each collaborator bringing their best traits and attributes to the table, the result is always greater than the sum of its parts. A good example of such a collaborative effort would be that of the Future Craft workshop, which we did in 2012. So let me bring you back to that. So this was when, in November 2012, the project gathered some 5 Singaporean designers and studios, as well as Swedish collective Form Us with Love. And together with Himpunan Designer Mebel Indonesia, or HDMI, we went on an educational journey to Rempah Rumah Karya in Solo City, Indonesia. And this is a town known for its gifted craftsmen, especially on ceramics, on rattan, on bamboo, wood, and teak. The goal that we set forth then really was to bring forth new perspectives to traditional Indonesian craft and manufacturing through the application of contemporary design. The workshop allowed designers to understand materials that they don't normally work with, and also understand what traditional handicraft techniques there are to offer. This is actually very, very inspiring for them. So the participating factories and craftsmen found new ways to use and manipulate their materials, their indigenous natural materials especially, and open up their eyes and minds towards a future of new business opportunities through design intervention. So previously they may be producing for big buyers, but now with design, they can really value add to what their handicraft or their manufacturing capabilities are. So the designers in that 1-week workshop came up with future craft furniture design concepts, and then proceeded to refine them together with the help of the designers, the factories, and the craftsmen working in collaboration over a period of 3 months. So eventually, the collaboration resulted in the final models that were showcased at this Future Craft exhibition at IFFS, International Furniture Fair Singapore, that is organized by us in 2013 March. So through such a collaboration, the factories and craftsmen were able to be known by a global audience that normally they don't get to meet. So as plans are underway to make Sarawak into a developed state by 2030, I'm certain that with the right pull factors and infrastructure in place and pushed along by the focus on design, creativity, and innovation, overseas investments will find their way naturally into the Sarawak's ecosystem. So these are some of the works that we showcased. Maybe I was a little bit fast there. Okay. So in view of the current travel restrictions, really there is no better time than now for all companies to take stock of their business and to be ready for the next wave when the economy recovers. So this is where using design as an enabler across the value chain will really help companies to evaluate and put in place strong and robust systems that will see them through and beyond the new normal. So companies, I really hope that companies will look beyond design as simply a means to create new products or your brand image. It's more than that, strategically speaking, especially. By applying design thinking all the way from strategy to product development, from logistics to production, to the buying journey of your customer, as well as the afterlife of your product. Companies and organizations will then be able to position themselves in a better way to stand out from the competition. And in providing products and services that are sought after and that meet changing expectations of their customers. So design really can help companies create value, manage risks, and improve their performance. Design is not, again, about just managing appearance of your business. It is also about managing the operations of your company, the business processes, and to allow your company to operate in as cost-effective a manner as possible. And also, of course, to remain relevancy of your company and your product offerings. So it's not just design, but also along with other key drivers like digitalization and sustainability. Consumers are being exposed to more information online now over the internet, and they're becoming more and more discerning, especially in their purchase decisions. So how do you evolve with them? So designers and company executives must really understand that design is not just about aesthetics, but it's a top management issue. And you have to really assess your design performance of your company alongside your P&L, your revenue, and your costs. So I really would like to see the growing role of designers, to see that how designers can expand their role, not to just work on product design, industrial design, on branding, but really to help companies look beyond the physical aspects of the business in packaging and branding, for instance, and for business owners to see design as an integral part of their business operations. So ultimately, good design will boost your company's value, you boost your sales, and also you put your company in a better financial standing through the application of design. So we in SFIC here, we have experienced many successful collaborations across nationalities, across different backgrounds and capabilities, and the transformative power of design to bring companies to a new level. We are excited about what the future holds for our industries in both Singapore and in Sarawak, and we look forward to future closer collaboration and co-creation together with STIDC, with STATOS, and also with our respective design studios in both countries, as well as our respective business communities. On this journey, I think together we can transform our business and lean on each other for a more successful tomorrow. Thank you very much. Back to you, Tina.
Mark, thank you very much. Great to hear you. And it's a real eye-opener to me. It was interesting to hear you talk about the fact that companies are now taking good design principles way beyond that so-called physical appearance and also applying it to their business processes. So some great information there. Thank you for your support of today's event. We really appreciate that, Mark. And I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the support of your colleagues as well at the Singapore Business Federation in promoting this webinar to their members. So thanks so very much. Okay, everyone, we've come to a really exciting part of the program where you become such an important part of today's webinar. Our panel of speakers are standing by, waiting to take your questions. And I can see that already we have a number of questions that are lining up. So we're going to jump straight into some of the questions. Let's take a look. Perhaps we could ask this to Nicholas. Nicholas, the questions come in about the two proposed furniture parks. When will they be operational? In other words, when can a new investor start to build a factory there? And how is the logistics between these two parks in Singapore or Port Klang? So maybe you might want to answer that. Over to you, Nicholas.
Thank you. I think this question comes from Mr. Sui. Yeah, there are two furniture parks. One proposed in Kuching, the Demak Laut, and the other one proposed in Tanjung Manis. Now, the Tanjung Manis has been is ready for investors to move in. So I think that is, if you want to go for quick gain, you can consider Tanjung Manis. For the Mat Laut in Kuching, it may take a little bit more because we need to prepare the site for this this project. Yeah. In the other additional question is whether these two furniture parks are linked to Singapore port. Yes, they have in Kuching we have this Senari port, which is also an export port, and in Tanjung Manis we have Tanjung Manis port itself. Yeah, and Tanjung Manis port is operated by STIDC. Thank you.
Okay, okay. And Nicholas, you might also be the person to answer the question that we've got in about the demand, which is high for exports. How is Sarawak maintaining its sustainability to continue to supply out of Sarawak as the timber natural resources will deplete over time and affect our environment? Tell us a bit about that.
Sustainability, that was the key subject mentioned by Mr. Pua, I think, in his opening remark. And this, we have this another question about sustainability. I've highlighted that in my paper just now, we have 4 sources of raw material. 1 is natural forest, 2 is planted forest, 3 is we call it non-timber forest product, bamboo, for instance, palm trees, for instance, biomass. And number 4, imported material. If we talk about domestic material, the 2 key raw material come from natural forest and also planted forest. For planted forest, we have a plan to plant about 1 million hectare of area under planted forest. This will be the main supply of raw material for the industry in the future. Currently, we have planted about 450,000 hectares of land under planted forest. Last year, we harvested about 1.6 million cubic meter of timber from this planted forest, and it's going to be increasing if we harvest more area from planted forest. So for us to sustain supply of raw material, we have to be more competitive in our planted forest program. That means we have to enhance our yield, we have to enhance our quality, we have to enhance our volume from this planted forest. For the natural forest, for us to sustain, the state government has made sure that the long-term license must be certified by 2022. Forest management certification is a very important element in forest management. We believe that when third party coming to audit our forests, we have third party to help us to make sure that we are implementing what we're supposed to do, you know. And this is also one way to make this become self-regulated. The investor themselves would regulate what they're supposed to do, not just wait for the government to enforce what they're supposed to do. So that will help to improve our management of our forests. Yeah, sustainability of our forests. Thank you.
Nicholas, thank you. Thank you for that. We've got a question also for Tuan Haji Hashim. And the question is this, in choosing a furniture making factory, what are some of the advantages to having my factory in Sarawak Furniture Park as opposed to having it in Johor with its land link to Singapore? What would you say to that?
Okay, like what Nicholas mentioned, Sarawak can offer you a better place. One, what we already mentioned, that the furniture park is next to the port. That is one. But the most important thing is the supply of raw material. So we have targeted about 1 million hectares of planted forest. So actually, this planted forest will supply most of this timber industry in Sarawak in near future. Even now, we are producing about 1.4 to 1.6 million cubic meter of logs from our planted forest. In next 5 years and next 10 years, we are targeting about 4 to 6 million cubic meters of logs from our planted forest. And with R&D that we are doing now, actually we should be producing better timber from our planted forest. Apart from that, we still have our natural forests, and this natural forest will contribute at least 2 to 3 million cubic meters to our timber industry. So this is the opportunity, and this is the advantage of having your factory here in Sarawak. And another thing is we are working with the department and also agencies to utilize more rubber wood together with our timber industry to produce furniture from this rubber wood. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Some interesting figures too that you've just told us. We really appreciate that. Can I direct this next question to Hua Boon Huat from the Singapore Furniture Industry Council? Can I just ask you, what do you think that Sarawak furniture companies need to do in order to attract the attention of Singapore furniture manufacturers to really begin that discussion for joint ventures?
Yeah, thank you, Tina, for the question. I think it needs to start with a very small steps. I think it's very important that for the manufacturing sector of final goods in terms of the manufacture, I think it's very key to have the supply chain in place as well. So I think that is a good start, I think, to also cultivate in terms of the furniture industry supply chain, whether it's supporting industry of raw materials, components. I think that is important because I think when some of our Singapore companies, when they have internationalized and established manufacturing facilities within the ASEAN or the Asia region, I think what they always encounter at the starting point is always a supply chain. They can't get the supply chain to be self-sufficient within the new site. So I think that could be an opportunity, as a starting point to also look into the accompanying supporting industry, to come together so that when the investor is in the region or in the area, I think they can have a better kickstart, in terms of the activities.
Yes, certainly, certainly. Mark Yong, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think access to very productive labor is also important. Training is very important for manufacturing staff. So we in Singapore here, a lot of our companies have offshored their businesses to their manufacturing processes to Malaysia, to different parts of Malaysia, to China, to Vietnam, because they have the access to a labor pool that is highly skilled and highly trained for the processes in furniture manufacturing. So I think it's important to have the development of capabilities in terms of the manpower, as well as a design thinking mindset in order to for Singapore companies to want to move to Sarawak to set up their manufacturing processes there.
Yep. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, indeed. Can I just ask a question to our young designers? Ryan, firstly, no doubt some of your colleagues and peers are listening in, and one has written in saying, as a fellow designer, what do you foresee happening in Malaysia in terms of community-related furniture? Ryan?
Yeah, thank you, Tina. For Malaysia, we are not very aware of design yet. That is how I feel, because we are not design center community. So in order to be a known designer, we need to have a conducive environment to let the designer to grow. Yeah, that's all in my opinion. Thank you.
Yeah. Arifin, I think we're interested in hearing from you as well about the fact that we know there's not currently many well-known furniture designers in Malaysia, and we're hoping that that will change. Why do you think this is? And how do you think, as a future star designer, how can we overcome this?
Okay. In my opinion, everyone is a designer. To become a designer, to become a popular designers, well-known designers, not only in Malaysia, but the world. I have begun this career path as a designer. My role model is Karim Rashid, and I want to become like him. That's all from me.
Do you think that designers in general are paid well enough for their work? Because one designer's written in saying, I think rates are very low, especially for graphic design, writes one of our participants. Ryan, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I'm not able to answer the question. No comment on this.
Arifin, what about you? Do you think that designers are paid generally well enough?
Yes, Tina, of course.
And they're paid well enough. And I think one of the challenges is if we can raise the profile of designers in Malaysia, in Sarawak, then getting their name out there will certainly bring them to a level that we know so many great designers are currently at in that region. And how important is that? Just getting the brand and the reputation out there. And I think that's no doubt one of the challenges that you face right now. We certainly want to hear also from Chu. Chu, you know, we were lucky enough to hear from you at the very beginning. I'm interested to know, what about STATOS, and do you have some specific plans going forward to promote the Sarawak Furniture Park, which is just so exciting?
Hi, Tina. Thank you for the questions. Yes, definitely. I believe before COVID, we already started our plan with SFIC and STIDC wanted to plan for a business mission to see our furniture parks in Sarawak. Unfortunately, because of COVID, but definitely we will draw out the same plan, make it more excited to see all the young designers in Sarawak and also the two furniture park in the near future. Definitely, my colleague Kenny, I think very keen now, already planning all the program now to bring all the interested parties over. Thank you.
Great. And Nicholas, do you think has the industry in Sarawak adopted to robotic technology in the various processes? We haven't really talked a great deal about moving it further in the whole technology sphere. But what do you think? Do you think that Sarawak has adopted robotic technology in the various processes?
Robotic application in timber industry, we have not seen any mill. From my experience, I've not seen any mill using robotic yet. But I think that should not stop us from deploying or using robotic if there is new investment coming in. For instance, in furniture finishing or spraying of furniture parts, I think those can be mechanized using robots. Yeah.
And no doubt something exciting to look forward to as we continue to raise the profile of those designers and furniture makers and manufacturers in Sarawak and Malaysia indeed.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. Okay, so everybody, that pretty much brings us to the end of our wonderful webinar today. Didn't we hear some really inspiring and interesting perspectives in terms of how furniture designs and investment opportunities exist And hopefully this has sparked your imagination, sparked your intellect, and started getting you thinking about ways of greater collaboration. So we're really excited about this. And it's been a wonderful pleasure to have each and every one of you with us. We want you to take a moment to give us feedback that you might have through the chat function or by contacting STATOS direct. We'd like to thank our wonderful distinguished panel. Chu from STATOS, thank you so much for arranging so many elements of today. Also Tuan Haji Hasim and Nicholas Lisson from the Sarawak Timber Industry Council. Also Phua Boon Huat and Mark Yong from the Singapore Furniture Industries Council. Sarawak's wonderful young designers in Ryan and Arifin, thank you so very, very much for your wonderful contribution as well. We'd like you to remind everybody who joins us today to please keep an eye out for the STATOS events website. There are so many great events that STATOS is arranging right now, and we want you to make sure that you're part of the action over the next few months. Don't forget to download your copy of today's presentations from the event website at www.statosevents.com. To each and every one of you, thank you so very much for joining us today. It's been wonderful to have your company. From our expert and fabulous team of panelists, we'd like to thank you so very, very much. Enjoy the rest of the day. From me, Tina Altieri, take care everyone and stay safe. Thank you. See you soon.